Greetings! It's been a while. So, yes, I live in Canada. It's cold. I've moved house. There's a bunch of other things to say, but I have one thing in particular. I have a greavy peavy up my sleevey. This might make some angry or make one want to argue, but that's okay. 'Cause you can't please all of the people all of the time, and really, why fucking try? One of the things I like to do, anyway, is gather a bunch of people that I wouldn't want to kill in their sleep, and go out, and have a drink, a coffee, or a fuck ton of pints, maybe a meal. I don't know, maybe I'm just old and boring. Either way, it all ends the same. At the end of our debauchery, we usually sit around and add up, and not too quietly I might add, because a lot of the times we're wasted, how much extra money we have to throw at our server for putting up with our antics. Now, it's generally understood that the more servers kiss your arse, the better they'll be tipped. You know, and I don't mind that. That's an okay policy, I guess. What bothers me is society's attitude towards being served. It's all gone terribly wrong. I shall explain. The amount society focuses on how pleasing things are served is out of balance with how well servers are treated as a whole. In other words, customers are total ball bags. Let's face it, they're all sour scrotum meat flapping in the wind, and yes, that includes me and you. I know what you're thinking, but Mr. Alchemist, servers can be total fuckheads too. Yes, I know, and my response to that is, cry me a river, fuck yourself. Now let us explore this reasoning, shall we, as I've called pretty much every one of my subscribers, and all the other ones that are viewing this, total bastards. When one goes out, there's a certain amount of people one meets in a day. Some of these will be servers, and yes, some of these will be total cunts. When one actually is a server, that means you'll run into at least 10 times that amount per day, therefore increasing the amount of twat waffle encounters. A server's shift is like a book, every page a potential flavor of asshole. Every shift a novel filled with would-be fuckfaces. The work week, a whole volume or saga dealing with potential useless wank spackle. So while you may not be a meanie to your server, and while there is the possibility that your server is less than cordial with you, just remember that their entire day has the potential to be colored by dozens and dozens of bastards. So swallow your pride and give them a smile or a tip or something else to let them know that you see them as a person. Be the better person yourself and make them feel spectacular, or at least put a notch in their day that doesn't tip in the other direction. And let us also focus on the point that servers are paid shit. Some places even have a minimum wage that is lower than normal minimum wage just for servers. I live in Canada. The province I reside in this place, is Alberta. It's cold, it's dry, it's a lot of things, but we'll get to that later. Minimum wage here is about $9.75. A server minimum wage here is, $9.05. If you're lucky enough to live in the good old US of A, across the board, the minimum wage there is $7.25? Now, if you're a server that receives tips, what are you paid? Let's check. $2.13 an hour. I'm just going to stare at you with my creepy beard face, just so that sinks in a little bit. Moving on. This sort of thing fluctuates from state to state, from province to province. I will leave some links below for you to check out. So yeah, if you wish to not believe me and do the research yourself, you have the means to do so now. So, on top of customers, most of these people, these servers, are getting fucked by the man simply because they have the possibility of making more money in tips. Ah, capitalism. If in the US, I'm not sure about Canada, but down there, if you make less in tips than minimum wage, $7.25, they are obliged to bring it up to $7.25. Pretty, that's benevolent. It still completely nullifies the very idea of tips through good service. America, land of the free, home of the slave. But I digress. I'm not an expert on the economy or how to fix it. I'm not an expert on employment policy for servers. I'm, not a professional in that regard. All I know is the system's a bit broken. All I'm saying is that you should shift your perspective a bit when it comes to getting served by others. If your meal was slightly under par, or that latte took a bit too long, or perhaps they just didn't smile enough while handing something to your privileged buttocks, let it go. Let it slide. Don't add to the problem. For a country that throws away enough food to feed a lot of third world nations, we do bitch and complain quite a lot. So, let's bring that down to a minimum. Okay? That's all I really have to say for now. Hopefully I'll have videos on a more regular basis. And, yeah, cheers you guys, and thanks for viewing my shite. Ah, street lights. Such a lovely glow. I shall call that color orange. I'm such a child.